your thing. 26, 10, and 10. You was unstoppable out there. Unstoppable. Cheers to Caitlin Clark. How about it?
26 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and a league that still, somehow, cannot figure out what it has. This is the story of Caitlin Clark, the single most productive economic engine women's basketball has ever seen, dropping her 4th career triple-double, carrying the Indiana Fever to 5 straight wins, becoming the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,500 points and 500 assists simultaneously, and doing all of it while the referees, the people whose literal job is to protect the integrity of the game, stood on the court and watched, and by watched, I mean failed her, repeatedly, on national television. I want every single person watching this video to stay with me through the next 17 minutes, because by the time we get to the 12-minute mark of this breakdown, you are going to understand exactly what is happening on that court, why it keeps happening, and who benefits from the fact that the most valuable asset in this league keeps getting treated like she is an inconvenience, rather than the reason the whole operation is still standing.
This player to reach 1,500 points and 500 plus assists in WNBA history. The girl every night.
Let's set the table, because the numbers here are not subtle, they are not a matter of interpretation, they are a matter of arithmetic, and the arithmetic is staggering. Against the Portland Fire, Caitlin Clark went 26 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. She shot 14 of 17 from the free throw line. She finished with a plus-minus of plus 23, the single highest on the entire Indiana Fever roster. She had 2 steals, she was getting into the lane at will, she was pulling up from 38 feet like it was a layup drill. And she was talking her talk while she did it, which, and I want to be clear about this, is exactly what the best player on the floor is supposed to do. That is your payoff stat, and I want you to lock it in right now. The fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,500 points and 500 assists. Not the fastest rookie, not the fastest guard, the fastest player in the entire history of this league. And she did it while the refs were too busy doing absolutely nothing useful to notice. The Indiana Fever are now on a 5-game winning streak, 5 straight. And over those 5 games, Caitlin Clark has averaged 29 points, 9 assists, and 4 rebounds while shooting 56% from the floor and 48% from 3. That is not a hot streak. That is a player operating at a level this league has never seen, and the business framing here matters enormously. This is your commodity. This is your golden goose. This is the one draw that is filling arenas, driving television numbers, and generating the kind of organic cultural conversation that marketing departments spend tens of millions of dollars trying to manufacture. And she is doing it for free every single night, while the people responsible for protecting her cannot be bothered to call a clean foul. I want you to sit with that for a second, because this is where it gets fascinating, and by fascinating, I mean genuinely, structurally maddening.
Is the best player in the world. You can talk about all these other people you want. It's only one player that can do this. Ain't nobody else running around getting triple doubles like this.
Here is what the box score tells you and what it does not tell you. The box score tells you that Kelsey Mitchell had 26 points on 9 of 21 shooting and 4 of 12 from 3. Efficient? No. Productive? Barely. The box score tells you that Aaliyah Boston finished with 14 points and 9 rebounds, but also missed 4 layups in the first half alone. 4. Caitlin Clark could have had her triple-double by halftime if her teammates were converting the shots she was creating. Think about that. She was so good at distributing the ball that she was generating open looks that did not even count. The assist column does not capture the layups that went in and out because of somebody else's hands. The box score tells you that Michaela Timpson, KK, came off the bench and went 7 of 8 from the floor for 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and was arguably the second best player on the floor that night. That is a real performance, and it deserves credit. Sophie Cunningham came out guns blazing, 13 points, 4 of 6 from the floor, 3 of 5 from 3, plus 18 in 27 minutes. That is an excellent bench game. But here is what the box score does not tell you. Caitlin Clark had to drag this team to a win, while the referees allowed defenders to foul her clean on a drive to the rim without calling it. A play that should have been a 4-point opportunity. Gone, swallowed, ignored. And that is what we need to talk about, because this is not a one-game anomaly. This is a pattern, and the refs are the primary villain in this particular story, and I'm going to name them as such every single time. It is like watching a restaurant owner hire a security staff to protect the kitchen and then watching that security staff stand in the corner eating breadsticks while someone walks in and takes the head chef's wallet. You hired these people to protect the product. The product is being compromised. And every single person watching this video can see it, even if the people getting paid to officiate apparently cannot. If you are finding this breakdown valuable, please subscribe right now and turn on notifications. We break down the Caitlin Clark situation in detail that you are not getting anywhere else. And now, let's get into the clip that tells you everything you need to know about what this level of performance actually means.
Well, she's tied for third all time. Caitlin Clark, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. She's absolutely doing her thing. Caitlin Clark,
the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,500 points and 500 assists. Let me be completely clear about what that sentence means, because I think people hear it and they process it as a highlight reel factoid and then move on. That is a mistake. Every single player who has ever put on a WNBA uniform, every legend, every Hall of Famer, every player who ever built a career in this league took longer to reach that combination of production than Caitlin Clark did. That is not hyperbole. That is not me hyping this up. That is simply the math. She is not catching up to the history of this league. She is lapping it. And here is where the business argument becomes impossible to ignore. Every franchise in professional sports is built around one core economic principle: protect your asset. You protect your asset because without the asset, you have no product. Without the product, you have no ticket sales, no television deal, no merchandise revenue, no cultural relevance. The asset is the business. And right now, the asset is a 22-year-old woman who is rewriting every production record in WNBA history, while the referees are letting defenders foul her without consequence. Think about what that looks like from a pure business perspective. You have a commodity so rare, so generationally unique, that she is the fastest in league history to hit 1,500 points and 500 assists simultaneously. And the people responsible for maintaining the integrity of the competition around that commodity are actively failing to do their job. That is not a basketball problem. That is a business catastrophe dressed up in a referee's uniform. Now let me walk you through exactly what happened in this game, because the details matter. Pass 1, the specific failure in this game. Caitlin Clark drives baseline. She is getting to the rim at will. That is not an exaggeration. That is what the tape shows. She gets fouled on the drive. Clean foul. Should have been a 4-point play opportunity. The refs swallow the whistle. Gone. And this is what's fascinating, and by fascinating, I mean absolutely infuriating, is that this is not a judgment call. This is not a borderline situation where reasonable people can disagree. This is a player getting hit on a shot attempt and the referees deciding in that moment that the rules of basketball do not apply to the situation in front of them. That is the specific failure. One play, one missed call. One 4-point opportunity that vanished because the refs are, as the evidence on the tape makes abundantly clear, not doing their job. Pass 2, the pattern. Here is where it stops being about one game. The referee's failure to protect Caitlin Clark is not a new story. It is the recurring story. It is the story that has played out across this entire season in different buildings, against different opponents, with different officiating crews, and the result is always the same. The asset gets fouled, the whistle does not come. And the most productive player in the history of this league has to absorb contact that would draw calls for literally anyone else on the court. Every single person watching this video has seen this play out. You have seen it. I have seen it. The only people who apparently have not seen it are the ones wearing the striped shirts. Pass 3, the enablers. Here is the question nobody wants to answer. Who benefits from this? Because when a pattern this consistent exists and nobody in a position of authority moves to correct it, you have to ask the question. The refs are not acting in isolation. They are operating within a system. That system has supervisors. That system has accountability structures. That system has people at the top who are responsible for the quality of officiating across the entire league. And what we have seen, game after game, foul after foul, swallowed whistle after swallowed whistle, is that nobody up the chain has stepped in to say, this is not acceptable. The silence from the people responsible for officiating standards is not neutral. Silence, in this context, is a choice, and every single person watching this video can see exactly what that choice is costing.
Your thing, 26, 10 and 10, you was unstoppable out there. Unstoppable. Cheers to Caitlin Clark. How about it?
Anybody else? That is the question. Is anybody else doing what Caitlin Clark is doing right now? Is anybody else pulling up from 38 feet and making it look routine? Is anybody else dropping 26-point triple doubles while simultaneously rewriting the record books? The answer, and you already know the answer, is no. Absolutely nobody. And this is where the borrowed legend argument lands, because every generation of sports has had this conversation. When a player comes along who is operating at a level that the existing infrastructure was not built to handle, the institutions around that player have two choices. They can adapt and protect the asset, the way the NBA eventually learned to protect Michael Jordan, the way the PGA Tour eventually had to reckon with the Tiger Woods era, the way every major sports league has had to confront the arrival of a once-in-a-generation talent and ask itself, are we equipped to handle this? Or they can fail to adapt, fail to protect, and watch the asset absorb damage while the people in charge look the other way. What we are watching with the referees and Caitlin Clark is the second option. And by the second option, I mean institutional failure in real time. Pass 4, the money argument. Let me restate the payoff stat one more time, because this is where the business case becomes airtight. The fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,500 points and 500 assists is being routinely underprotected by the officiating apparatus of the league she is saving. That is the worst of both worlds. You have the asset performing at a historic level, a level that is generating cultural momentum, driving attendance, and creating the kind of must-watch television that this league has been trying to manufacture for decades. And simultaneously, you have the officiating making the product look incompetent, making the league look like it cannot protect its most valuable commodity, and giving every skeptic who ever doubted this league's legitimacy a highlight reel of missed calls to point to. It is like owning the most valuable painting in the world and storing it in a room with a leaky roof. You have the asset, you are just refusing to protect it, and the damage accumulates every single game. The refs are the villain here. The refs are the primary institutional failure. And the refs have now had an entire season plus to look at the tape, look at the pattern, and make an adjustment. They have not made the adjustment, and that is not an accident, that is a choice.
This player to reach 1,500 points and 500 plus assists in WNBA history. The girl every night.
Fourth career triple-double, tied for third all-time, and over the last 5 games, 29 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 56% from the floor, 48% from 3, 5 straight wins for the Indiana Fever. Let me render the verdict, because I think it is actually simple. Caitlin Clark is the best player in this league. That is not a hot take, that is not a narrative. That is the conclusion you reach when you look at the production numbers, the milestone pace, the impact on winning, and the plus-minus, plus 23 in this game alone, the highest on the team by a significant margin. She is the best player in this league, and she is doing it with one hand tied behind her back because the referees will not call the fouls she is drawing. And by one hand tied behind her back, I mean she is playing at a historic pace of production while absorbing contact that the officiating crew is choosing to ignore. If she were getting the calls she is entitled to under the written rules of basketball, we would be talking about numbers that would make this conversation even more extraordinary than it already is. Now let me stake some concrete predictions, because that is what this breakdown is for. Prediction 1. The Indiana Fever are not done winning. 5 straight is not a fluke when your best player is shooting 56% from the floor and 48% from 3 over that stretch. This team, when Caitlin Clark is operating at this level, is a genuine threat. Mark it down. Prediction 2. The upcoming matchup with the Minnesota Lynx and Olivia Miles is going to be a genuine test. Miles is a talented point guard. She is fast, she is aggressive, and she is going to come in with a game plan designed to disrupt Clark's rhythm. And here is what I predict. It will not work, because the thing about a player who is the fastest in WNBA history to hit 1,500 points and 500 assists is that she has seen every defensive scheme, every trap, every attempt to take her off her game. And she has answered every single one of them. Prediction 3. The refs will continue to be a problem. I wish I could predict otherwise, but the pattern is too established, the silence from league officiating supervisors is too complete, and the evidence on the tape is too consistent. The refs will continue to swallow whistles on Caitlin Clark drives, and every time they do, the people watching, which is an increasingly large number of people because this is the asset that is growing this league's audience, will see it, and they will remember it. That is not hyperbole. That is not me hyping this up, that is simply what the evidence predicts. The fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,500 points and 500 assists is 5 games into the best stretch of her career. The refs are failing her. The league's officiating apparatus is failing her. And she is winning anyway. That is who Caitlin Clark is. That is the level she is operating at. And the one thing that nobody in this league, no referee, no defensive scheme, no institutional failure can do is stop her.
Is the best player in the world. You can talk about all these other people you want. It's only one player that can do this. Ain't nobody else running around getting triple doubles like this.
Here is what I need from every single person watching this video right now. Drop your honest take in the comments below. Forced choice, yes or no. Are the referees deliberately underprotecting Caitlin Clark, or is this just incompetence? Yes or no. I want to see where this community stands, because that answer tells you everything about what the league needs to fix and whether it has any intention of fixing it. Get in the comments, make your voice heard. If you are not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications, bell icon, all notifications, because we are covering every Caitlin Clark game, every Fever win streak development, and the Minnesota matchup breakdown is coming, and you do not want to miss it. And click the video on your screen right now, we have the next breakdown ready for you, and it goes even deeper into what is happening around this team. This is WNBA X Chiari. We'll see you in the next one.
Well, she's tied for 3rd all time. Caitlin Clark, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. She's absolutely doing her thing. Caitlin Clark